This Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns. Here to shout out 3-point conversion, man. Radio show. Hot.
Man, we have a special guest on here. Have an NFL Hall of Famer. Of course, somebody I've looked up to. We probably all looked up to. One of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. Mr. Warren Moon. How's it going today, sir?
I am doing all right this morning. How you doing? I just want to first of all send out all my thoughts and prayers to C.T. Vernon, a great civil rights leader, and also Reverend John Lewis, who both passed away yesterday. Both did a great job of trying to advance our company through civil rights movement, and John, of course, continuing to give his service to the United States Congress for over 30 years, and lost his battle with cancer yesterday. So just wanted to give a shout out to them and their families, and know that we're all thinking about them.
Definitely with you on that. So, man, the NFL right now, especially with the pandemic going on, we're basically on the brink of the NFL going into training camp starting. They came out with the Oakley mouth shield to attach on the helmets to prevent and spread coronavirus. Do you feel like there can be a season with the pandemic, especially the fact that it's not really slowing down right now?
You know, it's really hard to say so. Again, I would leave all of that to the medical experts because they know much more about the spread of this disease. They know more about the what's going to take to get the disease, as far as being involved in a sport where there's contact involved like that all the time. I'm just not really sure, how that's going to work out, but I'm sure if there's answers and good answers for it, and if there's precautions that you can take to make sure the players are safe, the medical people are going to know more about it than anybody else. So hopefully they're going by their guidance, and hopefully that's the way it's going to be steered. And if there is a season, that would be great, because I'd love to see professional football or college football. But if it's not, then it won't be the end of the world. I know it'll be a very difficult time for everybody, from an entertainment side and also from a financial side. But the main thing is we want to, continue to keep lives living, and we don't want to lose any more lives than we've already lost.
Right. Can I? I have another question. Would you be comfortable being in this position, or with, like you said? Because I understand with the medical, knowing if they're saying okay, it's okay. So if they do get the okay, and you were in this position, would you feel comfortable then, or would it still be kind of like, I don't know, in the back of your head?
I think it would still be, some uncomfortableness. There's no question about it, and I'd probably still continue to try and do as much research as I possibly could on my own. Mm-hmm. But you want to hope that the medical professionals and also your Players Association are going to put you in the best possible situation to be successful. That doesn't mean that anything is 100% disease or virus proof. I mean, we've already seen that with basketball. Guys have tested positive since they've been in their bubble. Same thing with baseball. So we know guys are going to get sick along the way, because people are going to slip up and do the wrong thing. But for the most part, hopefully, if everybody's taking care of their responsibilities and doing the things they're supposed to do to keep us safe, it should go relatively well.
And once again, we're here with Mr. Warren Moon. And, of course, this segment is brought to you by Perry Trademark Law. To get a trademark or anything patent, call 844-PERRY-MT. Again, that's 844-737-7868.
Now, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys weren't able to come to a deal before the deadline. Do you believe that Dak is worth what he's been asking for?
If I was in the negotiating room and knew exactly what he was asking for, I could tell you that. I really don't know. Everybody has their assumptions of what Dak is asking, what's been offered to him, how many years it's been, and all of that. I think that's what it really came down to, from what I understand, is that Dak wanted a shorter-term deal, where the Cowboys wanted a little bit longer-term deal, so they could stretch out his money and make it more salary cap friendly. So I think that's where the big problem was. As far as the amount of money that he was being offered, I think was a fair amount of money. There's no question about it. And I even heard at the last minute that there was an offer there that he probably would have taken, but they didn't have enough time to get it done before the deadline. So it's too bad it didn't work out, but you know, you're playing for $31.4 million this year, which is a lot of money. The only problem is if you get hurt or something like that. Now the future is in jeopardy. So that's why you want those longer term deals, so you get a little bit more money up front to have guarantees against getting injured or something like that. But Dak's betting against himself that he's not going to get hurt. He hasn't been hurt since he's been in the league so far, so hopefully it doesn't happen this year, and he'll put himself in a better position to negotiate next year.
Now, with that being said, do you think that he is going to have more leverage next year when it comes back to the negotiating table?
Well, it all depends on how he plays. You know, if he plays really well and the team does really well, that's going to help his negotiating power. If for some reason he has a subpar season, or for some reason he gets hurt or something like that, that's going to hurt his negotiating. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But for right now, we know what he's going to get paid this year, and hopefully he does have a great year, so he puts himself back in a really good position to make a ton of money, because it's out there.
Yeah, because even the tag next year would be like $50 million.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Yes. Now,
well, I think it goes up to 37, but and he could, so in a 2-year period he can make something like $68 million of guaranteed money. But you don't want to keep playing on those 1-year deals if you don't have to, because again, injury can happen at any time, and we've seen it happen with a lot of different guys. So you want to make sure that you get that long-term security, and that's what Patrick Mahomes got with the deal that he has. Maybe he took a little less money, but I tell you what, $500 million is pretty good to work with.
Now, with Cam Newton, the fact that he's a New England Patriot and seems to be rejuvenated again, although the Patriots aren't as talented on the offensive side, can you see the Patriots being successful with Cam at the helm?
Yeah, it depends on what they're willing to do with their offense, and I think they are willing to make some changes. They weren't able to do a lot of things creatively with Tom Brady because he just wasn't the athlete and just couldn't do some of the things a lot of these other quarterbacks, younger quarterbacks, African-American quarterbacks can do in the game. So I think Josh McDaniels, their offensive coordinator, has probably been biting at the bit to have somebody that he can do some different things offensively with and be more creative. And Cam gives them that ability to do that. And you got to remember, when Cam was in Carolina, he didn't have the greatest talent there either.
Right.
He didn't have any elite receivers on the outside. I think he had Greg Olsen as his tight end, who was a good player, and so Cam did a lot of that on his own offensively. And I think he's capable of doing that again up in New England. And I think they probably have a really good running back stable there right now, and they've got a couple of young receivers who have a chance to be good. So I think he might have better talent up in New England to work with starting out.
Right. And then with Josh McDaniels, knowing that, we give him a lot of credit for what he did in New England with the talent he had. But now, like you just stated, he has
look what he did with Tebow.
Right. He has a great talent with Cam being able to move him around. I feel like we will be able to see what Josh McDaniels
can do.
Yeah, this is more on him versus because we know what Cam won the MVP.
Yeah, we just have to make sure Cam's healthy, and he won the MVP 5 years ago. So there's been a lot of wear and tear on his body since then, but he seems to be in great shape from what he shows on his Instagram and all that. His body seems to be in shape, but the wear and tear of football can take its toll on you. So again, we'll just have to wait and see where he is with all of his different injuries, and I think they'll be able to put the type of offense in. You remember when Jacoby Brissett was there, and he started I think a couple of games, and they did some different things with him to take advantage of his mobility as well. So I think Josh McDaniels understands how to make those things happen. He just was handcuffed because of Tom Brady not being able to do those type of things.
Absolutely. Now, Pat Mahomes just signed a mega deal that can be worth over $500 million over the next 12 years. First, what was your thoughts when you first heard the news? And although he's only played 2 years, do you think he is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Well, he's right up there if he's not. He's definitely as talented as anybody in the league. I think there are other guys who have more on their resume, and that's only because they've been in the league longer. But I think the Kansas City Chiefs are paying him mainly because of what he's done already, which is, win a Super Bowl and also be an MVP in the league, and then what they think he can do going forward. And I think Patrick was conscious that I want this contract to be a long-term deal where it can be spread out a lot more, and we can continue to keep creating opportunities to get better players on our team so we can continue to be good. And I thought that was very smart. But it also gives him the security and gives him a lot of money to go through the rest of his career. And I'm sure if things change very much, with the way money is generated in the NFL, because the revenue just keeps growing and growing and growing, I'm sure the Chiefs would bring him back in if his contract isn't in line with the way things are going, and if he's playing at a high level still, they'll redo that deal. So I don't think he's handcuffed by this deal, but I think it does give him the security that he needs, especially if something happens, if he gets hurt, God forbid. There's $140 million guaranteed in there just for injury.
Right. I thought that was smart. I think the fact that now you see a lot of teams adding that, I forgot who the other player was that had it in his contract, the injury policy. I think that is great.
I think that was, 140?
Yeah, it was. That's what. Yeah, 140. So, did they have that injury policy when you were playing?
Yeah, we had injury guarantees. They just go through an insurance company and get it insured that way. But the injuries, the guarantees were $140 million. I guarantee you that.
I said, was it through Geico? Like what?
It's probably more like $40 million. Not no 140 million.
But that's interesting because I didn't, until now we didn't know that it was guarantees for injuries, and that was the thing we will always talk about.
I think a lot of it was we thought that the player themselves got their own injury insurance or something like that.
Well, some players would buy their own, but if you're good enough to get it negotiated into the deal and have the team pay for it, that's how you go about doing it. And most players try to get that done, and not so much every player on the roster, but definitely your higher profile players who are going to make a ton of money. I think it's to the organization's advantage too to take that insurance out, because it saves them some money if they end up having to pay a player a big salary if he gets hurt, say at the beginning of the year or something.
Right. And before we let you go, I definitely have to ask you this. We're talking about quarterbacks, so it's appropriate, I guess. Was there a quarterback that you loved playing against? Like, because of the battles, like you knew, okay, I'm going against this guy, even though, of course, you're not playing against each other, but that was the quarterback on that side. Did you have that rivalry or quarterback that you loved to go up against?
I definitely love playing against the guys in my division, because those are the guys you win against twice every year, and you had to beat those guys in order to win your division. That's always your goal. One of your goals at the beginning was to win your division so you can get in the playoffs. So, going against Boomer Esiason a couple of times a year, going against Bernie Kosar a couple of times a year, those are guys that I always remember, having really good battles with against the Bengals and also the Cleveland Browns during that time. And then I love to play against Dan Marino, because he was one of the top, if not the top quarterback during the time that I was playing, him and John Elway. So I just knew when I played against those guys, even though I wasn't on the field at the same time, you just knew consciously that I got to put points on the board, because these guys are probably going to put points on the board as well. So I got to make sure that I'm keeping up with them, if not scoring more points than them, to put the pressure on them to have to score points against our defense. So those guys were guys I loved to compete against because they were great players, they were great competitors, and they were at the top of the game during that time.
Now, this is kind of off topic. I know you mentioned John Elway, and I know he kind of forced his way to Denver, and you kind of had to go the route that you had to go. Like, I don't want to say did it make you feel some type of way, but like, did it make you feel some type of way that you had to go the route that you had to go, and John Elway kind of did what he had to do and kind of forcing his way to Denver, kind of?
Yeah, I think everybody's situation is different. I would have much loved to have John Elway's situation more than mine because he was the number one overall pick in the draft, and it was just a matter of he didn't want to go to Baltimore. He wanted to go somewhere else, and he ended up getting it worked out where he could get traded to the Denver Broncos, and the rest is history. But I definitely wasn't happy about the situation that I had to go through going to Canada to play and try to earn my way into the league. But I have no regrets about it as I look back at my career now because I had a great time up there. I won a lot of football games. We won championships. Those are memories that I'll have the rest of my life. And then I also got a chance to live my dream and play 17 years in the NFL. So I don't have any regrets about it. But at the time, there's no question I would have rather come into the league right out of college like every other college player does to go into the draft and get drafted and all those things that go along with it.
Yes, sir. That's crazy that you played 17 years after playing like 15. And,
right.
Yeah, that's like, man, it was good all of those years.
Imagine
like,
the numbers. Just imagine the numbers.
Oh, my God. Oh, man, that's still crazy to think about that. But
Yeah,
all right.
some people might say I'm crazy for doing that.
Nah, man, you were successful all those years, though. Like, I just remember being young when you went to Seattle.
I remember him killing the Bears when he played.
Right. Wait, when he went to Seattle, I was just like, my father, like, he's still playing. Like, how's he doing this? My father, like, I don't know.
Hey, the ever-ready battery just kept going. As long as the battery's going, I'm going to keep going.
I wonder if any players came to you. Were you taking anything or drinking anything? Like, what do I need to do?
No, I really took good care of myself, though. But I'll tell you how old I was when I played. I played against Ron Springs. Have you ever heard of him? He's a running back for the Dallas Cowboys back when Tony Dorsett. He was a fullback. Tony Dorsett was a halfback. And I played against him. And then when I went to Seattle, I was teammates with his son, Sean Springs. so that shows you how long I played the game.
Oh, man.
That's a career. That's a career right there.
Wow. That's something. I don't think people give enough credit to that right there. Wow. At the quarterback position where you taking hits. So, wow. But we definitely appreciate you for coming on. And, of course, you're always welcome to come back. You have a great, safe, and healthy weekend, sir.
You guys do the same, and thanks for having me on, and thanks for keep getting the word out the way you do. You guys do a great job of staying up with things that are progressive and what's going on in our society.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.